Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into the incredible world of Raj Kapoor, Bollywood's original showman. His films, well, they weren't just movies, were they? They kind of lived inside people. There was this magic, this sense of big dreams, deep love, and maybe even a bit of suspense he kept hidden. Did you know his own life had this secret, a romance, maybe more epic than his films, but totally real?
That's exactly right. And that's our mission for this deep dive, really, to pull out the key stuff from the material we've looked at on Raj Kapoor. We're going to, peel back the layers.
Okay.
Connect his own journey to those big, timeless themes in his movies. Hopefully help you understand the real Raj Kapoor behind the showman.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So Raj Kapoor, his story kicks off December 14, 1924 in Peshawar. That's in Pakistan now, of course.
Yeah.
And he was basically, born into the movies.
Literally.
Yeah. His father, Prithvi Raj Kapoor, was already this huge name in theater and film. So the groundwork was kind of already there, wasn't it?
Absolutely. A towering figure.
And it's fascinating how immersed he was right from the start. Our sources say he spent his childhood around cameras, editing suites, all that buzz. He even started out as a clapper boy at just 16. Imagine that. A pretty grassroots beginning, you could say.
And that's what's so interesting here, I think. Even that young, he had this vision. It's clear he didn't just want to be, Prithviraj Kapoor's son.
Right.
He wanted to be his own son, as they say. That kind of fierce independence, it really sets the stage for everything that follows, his whole path as a filmmaker.
That fierce drive, yeah, you can see it. It pushed him incredibly fast. I mean, just 24 years old, this is 1947, he directs his first film, Egg.
Huge leap.
Huge. And, okay, Egg didn't exactly set the world on fire initially, but then just 2 years later, 1949, Barsats comes out, and boom. He's not just a star, he's a massive superstar. People just got him.
Instantly.
And right after that, he starts his own production house, RK Films. The material we have calls it quite beautifully, I think, not just a studio, but a factory of dreams.
That's a perfect description.
And just think about the films that came out of there. Awera, Shri 420, Sangam, later on, Maranam Joker, Bobby, Prem Rag, just one iconic film after another, real landmarks.
And his style,
Yeah.
That charm, that very specific persona, especially the Awera Hoon character, the tramp figure.
Oh, yes, a tramp.
It just connected so deeply with people. If you think about the bigger picture, he wasn't just playing a role. He was actively creating this persona, this character type.
Right.
A type that sort of captured the hopes, the dreams, maybe even the anxieties of a society that was changing really fast back then. He gave a face to the common man's feelings.
That idea of persona, it's fascinating. And it leads us right into maybe the most compelling part of his personal story. Because our deep dive showed, his life's biggest romance, and maybe its biggest mystery, involves Nargis, the actress Nargis.
Legendary pairing.
Absolutely. Started with Ag in 48. And that chemistry they had, it powered huge hits like Barsat, Awara, Shri 420. On screen, it was electric.
Undeniable.
But what maybe people don't always realize is how deep things got off screen, too. The sources make it clear a really profound but also really complex relationship developed.
Yeah.
Which was incredibly complicated because, Raj Kapoor was already married. So you have this intense passion playing out against some very real constraints.
And that's where you see the personal cost, isn't it? Nargis, she clearly hoped they could marry.
Understandably.
But Raj Kapoor, for whatever reasons, and they are complex, our sources sort of allude to them, he never gave her that promise. He couldn't or wouldn't.
Right.
And so eventually she had to make a choice. She moved on, married Sunil Dutt. And the image described is just heartbreaking. Raj Kapoor literally looking into the camera as she walked away.
Wow.
Nargis herself apparently used to say, Raj showed me the light, but in that light I also burned. It really makes you think, doesn't it? About the toll these intense connections take when they smash up against, society's rules and existing lives.
It really does. It's powerful and, quite heartbreaking. But Raj Kapoor, he was so much more than just the romantic hero, wasn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
He was a director, a producer, a genuine visionary. He used his films like this huge canvas, really, to explore Indian society, the human condition, all its layers. Think about Shri 420. That struggle between being honest and, maybe cutting corners.
Yeah.
Still relevant today, right?
Totally.
Or Sangam, tackling friendship versus love. And then maybe the most personal, Maranam Joker, which people say was basically him holding up a mirror to his own life, his own unfulfilled feelings. Raw stuff.
And what's fascinating there is what happened after Mirror Named Joker. Because the film, well, it flopped big time.
Yeah, I read that.
And the accounts suggest Raj Kapoor was just shattered, absolutely devastated. There's even this story. Raj Saab sat in the studio and burned his own posters. Can you imagine?
That's intense. For such a personal film, too.
Exactly. A massive blow. But here's the thing. He didn't give up. He didn't just crumble. He somehow took all that disappointment, that pain,
and channeled it. He poured it into making Bobby, and bam, history again. Launched a whole new generation. It just shows incredible resilience, doesn't it? And how his vision kept evolving. Even huge failure could spark something new and groundbreaking.
Amazing resilience. So, okay, after all of this, the huge successes, the personal heartbreaks, what's the legacy? How does he still connect so much, even with all that behind him?
Well, I think
These films weren't just stories, were they? They were like these philosophical dives into love, poverty, conflict. He had that famous line, right? I'm a joker. I make everyone laugh, but I cry myself.
sums up so much.
His heart clearly got broken more than once. Nargis, the failure of Mirror Named Joker. But the sources suggest he didn't break. He just changed, kept evolving. He seemed to weave his own journey, his pain, right into his art.
And I think if we connect that to the bigger picture, that's precisely why his films still resonate so much. That ability he had to take his own suffering, his own understanding of life as it changed.
Yeah. And put it authentically into cinema. It wasn't about showing some perfect world, was it? It was about showing the human condition, honestly. Flaws and all.
The messy reality.
Exactly. His films kind of taught us that, even when things are sad, even when you're hurting, the show must go on. He connected through that shared vulnerability.
A powerful message. Then, in 1988, he received the Dadasaheb Phalke Award, India's highest film honor. A fitting end, you'd think.
A huge honor, but tragically.
He collapsed right there, didn't he,
Yeah.
from the ceremony, and passed away shortly after.
Such a dramatic end, in a way. The material we looked at puts it very movingly. Something like, cinema's biggest showman finally stepped off the stage.
Oh.
But the curtain still flutters.
Yeah.
Because Raj Kapoor never leaves. He lives on in films. His own love story, maybe it was incomplete, but his film stories, they feel complete. His cinema was a dream, his life. Quite a story.
That's beautiful. And, even now, when you see those eyes in Mirror Named Joker crying on screen, it almost feels like you hear that whisper from behind the screen. You know the line, picture Abhi Baki and mere dust.
The film is not over yet, my friend.
Exactly. So, thinking about that, what does that line, that feeling of continuation, mean to you about Raj Kapoor's impact on cinema? Sure, but maybe even on how you see life's whole unpredictable show.